Welcome back to another financially fabulous episode. I'm Limor and I'm going to show you how to crush it with your finances. In today's episode, I'm going to be talking about CRA scam and a couple of other scams. Come on, this will be interesting. You may have heard of some CRA scams that are happening, and it's actually happened to me now, not once, but twice, which is why I thought, hey, it probably makes sense to make a video and you may be curious about this. In fact, the first time it happened to me was probably about 2 months ago, and I got totally freaked out. I mean, doing your taxes is hard enough as it is, and it's overwhelming, and even me, your financially fabulous friend here, I do not love doing my taxes. And because I have some corporate structures and stuff that's a bit more complicated, I actually have some taxes I need to do every 3 months. It's probably better that way so that I'm not surprised at the end of the year, but I have to file my personal taxes in the spring like we all do here in Canada. And then because of the way my structure is set up, I have to pay other taxes every 3 months. Now, paying tax is kind of a good thing because it means you're making money, but it's still overwhelming and can be super confusing. And so I never really feel like I'm perfectly on top of it, even though I've got an accountant to help me out, I've got a bookkeeper who helps me out, but even so, I feel a little bit uneasy about taxes, and they're not a fun subject. So, I mean, I'm not sure how you guys feel, but it's definitely not my favorite. So anyways, back to my story. So 2 months ago, I got a phone call. I was in a meeting, so I didn't pick up my phone, and I got a message from what was the CRA, or what was claiming to be the CRA. It was a guy from the CRA who said I was behind on my taxes and it was going to have significant dire impacts and I better call back right away and it's quite an issue. And so I freaked out. Like, you know, it's like one thing to get that little brown envelope in the mail where you're like, oh shoot, what's that gonna say? And you don't want to open it, but you open it anyways. But to have what I thought was a CRA calling me, telling me I'm behind my taxes or that I missed something, that I owe a lot of money and that there's big impacts, well, kind of freaked me out. So first thing that I did is I was like, okay, I'll try to call them back. Probably not a good decision, but I did anyways. And their phone number they gave me was like, basically disconnected. Now I have heard of some scams where they have asked you to call back, and then when you call back, they reconnect you or something, or it's a long distance and they charge you like an obscene amount of money per minute. So probably not a good idea to call back, but I was like super nervous, wasn't sure what to do. So when the phone number was disconnected, I was like, okay, this is bizarre. There's no way the CRA's phone number is disconnected. Like, they want my money. Like, the Canadian Revenue Agency is a legit agency. So then, of course, I reached out to my accountant right away in like a bit of a flat panic. I'm like, oh my God, what's going on? I sent this like email with all these like exclamation marks and high priority, and my accountant wrote back to me. He's like, okay, Limor, first of all, you file your taxes. Like, maybe they're not always perfect, or maybe there's a mistake that you make, but no one's ever gonna call you and tell you that you're in serious trouble. Second of all, you have an accountant. You have an accounting company that is helping you. You know, we know what we're doing, and if there's any issues or you get any contact information or a phone number to call or like another phone call like that, just let me know and I will call on your behalf. So that actually made me feel a lot better because I knew that like there is somebody that's looking out for me. I know some of you may file your taxes by yourself. I've never filed my taxes by myself. I just don't want to mess them up, and I feel better having somebody who's a professional taking care of them for me. So in that instance, I was like, okay, not a big deal. He was like, your taxes are fine, calm down. I was like, okay, no big deal. All right, so then this past week, I actually got another phone call. Again, I didn't pick it up because I was busy and I don't always pick up numbers that I don't know. And the message on the machine was, hi, I'm officer blah, 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 with number blah, 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 blah. And I don't know why I made that voice, but that's maybe what he sounded like. And, you know, same kind of idea, but with like an actual like officer number, and it actually sounded a lot more legit than the last time that I got a phone call from the CRA, and it really honestly made me super nervous again. I'm like, okay, what's going on? I'd had the previous experience, so I knew what to do. So I was actually looking back at the number that they had called in to me from, and it didn't match the phone number that they told me to call. And in fact, the number that they were calling from was from the United States. Are you kidding me? The Canadian Revenue Agency does not call you from the United States. I was like, okay, scam alert, totally a scam. not worth doing anything about. I didn't even follow up with my account because I was like, I know this is totally fair. But it can be super, super scary when, you know, you think you're behind on your taxes and you think like the CRA man's gonna come and get you. So, you know, if you've gotten these phone calls, just first of all, calm down and relax, and, you know, let's recognize that this is something that is happening. It's pretty ugly that it is, but there's scammers and hackers and lots of people out there with, unfortunately, lack of integrity who are looking to get a quick, easy buck. So let's make sure that that doesn't happen to you and that doesn't happen to me. It's funny, I think that right now in society, there's even more fraud than ever before. I actually had another fraud experience just a couple weeks back. I got a text message from, this is not my main bank, but I have credit cards, as you probably know, with lots of different banks, from one of my non-major banks. And the text message basically said, we think that there's fraud on your account. Click here to see what happened. And I was like, hold on a second. Why would my bank send me a text message? It's not my major bank. I'd never gotten a text message from them before. And then why would it have a link to click here? Like, it just kind of felt a little bit funny. So of course, bust out my credit card, the number on the back of the card, call the bank, and I'm like, excuse me, what is going on with my credit card? Like, has there been any fraud or any issues? And then I explained to them what had happened. The guy was like, smart. Do not ever click on a link. As a bank, we would never, never, ever send you a text message if that's not our main way of communicating with you, and we wouldn't send you random links to go to. So good that you didn't actually end up doing anything. They were like, advise me to delete the text message, which is what I did right away. So it can look super legit, you know, I mean, maybe my bank would text me, I don't know. Only people who text me are like those that I'm closest to. I don't really hand out my phone number too much to random strangers. And so, you know, if they texted me, you know, you kind of feel this element of closeness, right? This somehow, you know, and hackers and scammers take advantage of that. So if you get a text message from a bank or financial institution or anybody saying click here, whether it's computer services or, you know, anything of the sort where they could get into your private information, they could maybe get your credit card, they could take some of your hard-earned money, I would just say delete it. And, you know, if you're not sure, because things could happen, they could be reaching out for proper communication, just give them a call on their legitimate phone number that's on their website or the back of your credit card, or that came with your receipt when you purchased, let's say, a computer or something, to make sure that you're not negatively impacted and you can intellectually differentiate between what's a scam and what's an actual communication from any of these service providers that you are working with. That actually brings me to my tweetable today. Be financially smart and don't let scammers get the best of you. It can be really easy to be caught off guard, and that's what scammers really pride themselves in. The thing that you weren't expecting, pretending they're the CRA so that they can be legit. So just make sure that you are being smart, and that's actually my challenge for you today. If you encounter something that feels a little bit uncomfortable, or you even think twice, like, would the company really reach out and do that to me, or would they really connect with me that way? Is that typically how they communicate with me? If that isn't, just take a moment back and say, oh, well, this could be a scam, so what's the best way for me to make sure that I don't fall trapped to what they're doing, and just double check and see if there's anything else I need to do. Maybe you need to change your passwords, or tighten the security, maybe if it's something online, add a two-step verification, just to make sure that your intellectual property and your finances and your money and all the stuff that is really important to you isn't taken advantage of. Did you like this video? Did you learn something? Subscribe to my channel, it's free. And if you want even more tips and tricks, come on over to limor.money. I've got lots of great resources for you to download for free. Remember, I'm not here to change who you are or how you live your life. I just have strategies to make you even more financially fabulous. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Till then, stay fabulous. This is a stick. Give me all your money.